So, thank you, everyone. I'm really honored and happy to be here. And before we start, this is just past the middle of the day, which means we should be past the middle of our first goal of $5,000. So, please help us get there before the end of this presentation, if you please. And also, before we get started or before we get into intergenerational dialogue, I want to congratulate and show our appreciation to Henrik and Rob and all the others involved in such a wonderful action or activity towards helping our friends in Puerto Rico. It's really very important, and it's a beautiful role we play with the ELT in Latin America and in the world. So, we're here to talk about, first of all, yes, I'm speaking from Brazil. I'm based in Sao Paulo. James mentioned Sao Paulo a few minutes ago. So, this is where I'm talking to you from. And our topic today is how we can approach different generations. And the project we created here in Brazil with seniors elsewhere so that different generations could talk and exchange experiences. And we call that speaking exchange. And next slide, please, Rob. I think I can do it here. Let me try. Yeah, I can. So first of all, what are the goals or the benefits, so to speak, of international intergenerational dialogue? First, people learn to see things from different perspectives, which definitely is something really important nowadays when we see societies and communities very much divided or separated by their ideas and ideologies. Second, it promotes understanding in the sense that it's not just the way I thought it was about, young people and older people, but it actually happens that I can understand what they have to say and how they view the world. Also, it helps them establish bond with each other and learn from that. And it also fosters solidarity, again, something we are very much in need nowadays, and the very reason for this conference. And finally, last but not least, it helps us resignify what it means to be in a certain age group. So let's start with the stereotypes, shall we? First, depending on the community or the culture, usually old people are seen as not productive, meaning that they're not in the labor force anymore, most of them. So they're not producing anything in terms of in terms of the economy. Also, most are seen as very slow. I mean, physically slow. They move slowly and unhealthy, so they need help for most of the things they do, and also to be slow in terms of learning or even unable to learn. Also, younger people tend to see older people as too much attached to their old fashioned ideas, to the ideas they had when they themselves were younger. But again, depending on the culture, mostly Eastern cultures, they tend to be seen as both knowledgeable and respected. The ancestors play a very meaningful role in the traditions of that family or community. Again, these are stereotypes, and like all stereotypes, they're not fair. But this is the way many people see the older generations when they're younger. The same happens with young people. Isn't that true? So we have younger people saying that they're constantly developing and learning new things and becoming better people, and they're in the process of building themselves up or something like that. They're also seen as quick, quick responses, quick actions, quick moves, and healthy and enjoying their lives to the maximum. Also, that they learn fast, which tends to be um, why some people would rather hire younger people because they tend to learn fast, especially when you have these startups and companies that are beginning their businesses. Also, most, I wouldn't say most, but yeah, most younger people are seen as open to new ideas and willing to change the world and make the different movements and initiatives we see everywhere. On the other hand, some older people, tend to see younger generations as unsympathetic, not able to understand, to perceive, to relate to older people, and at the same time, irresponsible or inconsequential because they are not very concerned about the effects of their actions and what they do. So, the idea is to move beyond those stereotypes and think, what if we do it differently and we get to know better these people instead of just thinking about the average or our preconceived ideas of what they do? And then we thought we would be helping our students to try new perspectives. I have to mention that I work for a chain, a network of language centers in Brazil. We have over 600 centers, and we serve about 500,000 students every year. So we have students from different walks of life, different regions, different experiences. Most of them are young, and that's where that's the grounds from where this activity or this project will show you comes from. So Rob, now I think is a good time for our video, please. Again, this is this speaking exchange project I told you about.
Not all of our students have the chance to travel abroad and to interact with native speakers of English. What our students really want is to speak English fluently. And we're always asking ourselves, how can we make it more real, more human? We created a tool that connects our students with seniors in the USA living in retirement homes.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Melissa.
Hi, Dick. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
It's the first time that I'm talking with someone from another country.
I'm very excited to be doing this.
I look like I'm only 25, but I'm 88.
Do you have sisters and brothers?
No, I'm one child.
Only one? Oh, you poor fella.
I'm live with my old brother. He has 23 years.
Do you know, instead of saying he has 23 years, you could say he is 23 years old.
I tried to go to Lollapalooza that we have next week, I think, in Brazil, but my mom didn't let me.
You got a good mom.
Good morning, dear Julia. Good morning to you.
This is your dad?
That's me and my wife when we were young.
Oh, you were good looking when you were young. And you're still good looking.
My first destiny is United States, of course, because I wanted to put better my English.
Well, you do very well, I must say.
Are you planning someday to go to Brazil?
Oh, I would like to.
You can stay in my house if you want.
If you could just dream and have whatever you want, what do you think you would like to be doing?
I see myself in a big family, with a beautiful wife. I want to thank you for this change of experience, You are incredible.
Obrigado.
You are my new granddaughter.
And I love you.
I love you too.
And if you were here, I would give you a big hug.
Oh yeah, let's hug. Oh. Bye.
Bye.
So that's the project I told you about. It's called Speak and Exchange. It's been going on for 5 years now. We've had over 3,000 different sessions. Sessions last for about 11 minutes each. And topics, conversation topics pop up down here on the screen. But truth is, nobody actually pays much attention to that because people talk about what they're willing to. And this is really, really important. And for our students so far, what we try to do, what we've been trying to do, is to move beyond those false paradigms which say that or which state that younger people do not have the patience or the will to talk to older people and the other way around. So what we did is such a simple idea, and those are the best in my opinion, which is we have students in Brazil, all of them are Brazilian, most of them don't have the chance to travel abroad, as Vanessa said in the beginning of the video, and they want the challenge of talking to a native speaker of the language to test what they have learned or to practice what they've learned that far. On the other hand, we have senior citizens in retirement communities at that time in the US, now both in the US and Canada. And that's one of the many activities they can do there in their retirement homes to help them spend their time in the most pleasant way possible. And that's what they do. Some of the senior citizens in this video have already passed away, and some others come and join us. And I had the pleasure of visiting Windsor Park in Chicago, and they told me how happy they are and how thrilled they are to talk to the younger generations in Brazil. So we're very happy that this project has been going on and that we have the chance to challenge and to promote reflection on those stereotypes I mentioned earlier. So, what have we learned from this specific project and this instance of intergenerational dialogue? First, the attention to past and present. You probably noticed when one of the senior citizens showed the picture of the time when he was young with his wife and everything. So they have the chance to first talk senior citizens mostly in most of the sessions I had the pleasure to witness or to see. The younger people are usually interested in history, how their partner's life was to that point, what they did, their careers, the places they visited, where they traveled to, what they used to do. On the other hand, the seniors, they're very, very excited to know about what our young students dream of being, and what their dreams and inspirations are. So this is what I mean when I say attention to past and present in tandem. Also, the sharing of ideas, experiences, and life projects. That happens a lot when they start comparing what they do in the US or Canada and what they do, our students do here in Brazil. So they find the tiny little difference, but mostly what they do is to see what they have in common, the human side and the humane side of everything they do. And this is really beautiful. And I can tell you that both parties, when they finish the project, they are transformed by the experience they had. Also, the demystification of age stereotypes, both young age and old age. And this is really important to get people closer together when they move past their common sense beliefs, so to speak. And they also have, and this is really important for our students here in an EFL environment or context, which is language learning and practice. When we have that lady saying, instead of saying he has 23 years, you could say he is 23 years old. You probably noticed that the girl was mouthing the expression she learned in a real communication experience or moment, not from a teacher who kept correcting over and over and over again. So this is also a very important moment and very relevant moment for language learning and language practice. There's also cultural awareness in the sense that different cultures behave in different ways. I remember one session when the girl was very surprised to find out that the senior citizens were having dinner at perhaps 6 or 7 p.m., which for her, who went to college at night, was really, really early. And they find the cultural differences and they learn to value and mostly respect those differences. Also, there's the theme of affectivity. I Initially our idea is that people would be chosen or pairs would happen or would be made randomly, and it didn't work because people who started talking this week wanted to be with the same partner the following week. So there was the affectivity factor making people want to go on and be together. Actually, we brought one of the senior citizens, the same one that mentioned um, the age issue, and she came to Brazil and she wanted to meet in person the girl she's talking to in the video. So on the video, so it's really important for us to consider. It was important for us to consider in the next phases of the project or the program how we would include the effectivity factor. And also all of them left the or as they moved on with the program, they were able to broaden their view of the world because most of those seniors had never been in touch with anyone from Brazil. So they kept telling us how important it was for them to know more about that person's life and our country as a whole. So this was also very, very much valuable for us and for all those who have participated this far in the past 5 years. So I said it was a simple idea. So what is it that we needed? Oh, before that, sorry. I told you there would be, you'd hear from or read from one of our senior citizens and see what he says here. This is Brian, and he says that the greatest benefit of being the speaking exchange program is hearing about the dreams and goals of students in another country. Their smiling faces are a blessing that I will never forget. They need to be encouraged and blessed by other people. And this was spontaneous. So we're really happy that we opened some space or we made room for that sort of experience to occur, to happen. Well, and what is it that we needed to do so? Because if it's a simple idea, and the idea is, and the my goal here is that if you inspire to do something similar, because of this, I'll tell you what we needed, and it's not anything truly complicated. First, we needed retirement home residents willing to participate. And there are different chains of retirement homes in the US, which may help you find those interested in taking part in such a program. Second, students willing and brave enough to try. Most of them are very shy in the beginning, but as they move on through the program, they feel much more confident, and it's easy for them to convince other students to join in. Also, a technological tool, which is simple and effective enough for all the participants to use. We have our own proprietary tool, but there are many that you can find like Skype or Zoom or many others that you can use for video conferencing. We believe that being able to see the person, not only here, is really important for the success of the program, including the affection factor we mentioned, the affectivity factor we mentioned before. Also, professionals who are willing, knowledgeable professionals who are willing to contribute. We have two professionals here at CNA headquarters who are in charge of making sure things run smoothly and test the technology and make sure people are together at the time they're expected to. So this is also important. Someone has to own the program and be able to work on it on a day-to-day basis, or whenever needed. And also lots of goodwill and joy. Everybody really feels happy when they're part in any role, when they're part of the speaking exchange program. So if you have the people and you have the right technology, the minimal technology, then you're good to go. And I'm sure your experiences will be the best, not only with specific retirement homes or communities, but also if you find people on both sides who are willing to talk to each other. This was and has been really important for our program in the past 5 years. And we have a big group of students who are willing to participate, and we still have to find more retirement homes to work with us towards that. So this is important to make a difference in the world. So our idea here is how English language teaching and learning can make a difference in our communities. And this is a way we found to make a difference. And I hope you can do the same. There's another way you can make a difference right away, which is to help us reach our goal of $5,000 to donate to our colleagues, to the population in Puerto Rico. So if you're able to do that, I'm going to end a couple minutes before time, so I'll give you some time to immediately donate and help us be successful, not only with the great lineup we have for this conference, but also with the donations we set out to get in the very beginning. Okay? And before I finish, I would like to end with a quote by the very famous The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, when he says that two roads diverge in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. If we move beyond our stereotypes, the stereotypes imposed to us, if we move beyond our preconceived ideas about old age, young age, different countries, different parts of the world, different people, then we can reach a more peaceful and understanding world. And that can and should be done by means of the English language. Thank you very much. And if you want to talk to me, that's my email. Thank you so much.